All right, I have to start this interview with a very weird question, Mr. O'Neal. So, uh, I need to know if you are related to a gentleman named Brian O'Neal.
That is my dad.
Okay, this is going to get even weirder. Did your dad go to Eastern Illinois University?
He did.
Was he in a fraternity?
He was.
Was he a Lambda Chi?
I believe so.
Will you please go get your father right now?
I will.
Yes. I'm so glad I didn't ask him the question over text, Ben, because this is way more theatrical and enjoyable for our listeners, our audience.
Trendsetter, whoa, league of my own, it don't get better. No, read what I wrote, I'm a bestseller. Yeah, reach for my goals, hit it dead center.
All right, folks, welcome back to the 20th episode. We just keep adding to that total, Dave Bentley. 20th episode of the Diggles Diamonds podcast. As I alluded to, I am joined by my faithful co-host, Mr. David Bentley, joining us from Geneva. And tonight we are joined by a trio of guests, two young men from the same high school who had two of the more interesting pitching lines that I've ever seen, let alone this week, just in baseball history in general, in the form of Gabriel Perez and Max Gregory of Illinois Valley Central High School in Chillicothe, and then Gavin O'Neal from Lake Park High School, who had a great offensive week, is going to be joining us as well a little bit later in the show. So, first off, we're pitching heavy this week, guys. But want to start by talking about the IBC pitching staff this week. Again, as I alluded to, Max and Gabe both kind enough to join us. Max, that you see there. Uh, where is my? There we go. That's uh, the multi-view. Uh, Max on Wednesday against Spring Valley Hall, the team that beat IVC last year in a regional final. Max goes 7 innings, gives up one hit, strikes out 10, and gets a no decision because the game ends up going 11 innings. And the young man that relieved him, TJ Dennison, thankfully stayed hot as well and ended up striking out seven, or pardon me, an additional seven for a grand total of 17. But Max, talk a little bit about that game, man. Did you ever think in your life you'd give up one hit and get a no decision?
Yeah, that game, it was how do I put it? It was very interesting. It was there in my mind they were our rivals from last year because as you mentioned they beat us in the regional championship last year, and the thing that was going through my mind the most was like I just need to be as productive as possible and perform my best this game because I know we'll be seeing them later in the year for playoffs. So yeah, I mean, overall it was a really good game, I think.
And when I talked to you that night, both you and Gabe mentioned like their arms were no slouches either. They both there was a lot of pitching in that game.
Absolutely. It was back and forth for sure.
And for those who don't read the Diggles Diamonds weekly roundup, you may have missed it, but the gentleman with the game-winning hit in that game was the guy that we're going to talk about next, Gabe Perez. So Gabe Perez walks it off on Wednesday night, and then on Thursday, they go to Morton, one of the better teams in the area, just coming off had its 14 game winning streak snap, but still tied for first in the Middle Illini Conference. And Gabe gives up one hit over 5.1 innings, and I believe struck out 10 as well. Gabe, I think.
Eight, I believe.
Oh, struck out 8. But either
Eight
way,
to
that
ten.
was Gabe and the reliever gave up one hit all game, and they still managed to lose 2-0. Talk a little bit about that, Gabe. That had to be kind of weird as well.
Yeah, that was interesting too. Kind of one hit's kind of a hard thing to lose on. It's kind of unfortunate, but I mean, we battled the entire game, and I mean, we still out hit them, so we were in the game the entire time. I mean, baseball just kind of works out to be that way sometimes, unfortunately.
It's the
But
weirdest dang sport ever, man.
So
It
weird.
is.
it is. But I'm happy how the team fought. Our bats, we put the ball in play a lot at the kids. But I mean, we out hit them and we competed the entire game. So that's, I mean, all I can ask for, all we can ask for.
You guys play one of the low key, like tougher small school schedules in the state. Part of that's just being in the Illini Prairie with Monticello and St. Joe and BCC in a given year and all that. But your non-conference schedule doesn't do you guys any favors either, playing all those Mid Illini teams. Um, Mr. Bentley, what do you got for these young men?
I'll start with Max. Max, you're a commit to Spoon River, correct?
Yes, sir.
Good stuff. My dad played basketball there back when it was called Canton Community College, way back in 65 and 66. So I know the area well. I know the
I believe
school.
that was at the same time that the legendary Mike McDonald was playing there before he took Bradley to a College World Series.
Well, that's what it was back then. It was
Yeah.
what would happen is Bradley would say, "We won all these guys, but right now I only got room for 12. Hey, Canton Community College, can you take 6 and get them ready for the grind?" And that's what they did. In fact, my dad said there were multiple high school All-Americans from California that he played with on that squad. And he went in there being a small town kid from Illini Bluffs, which at the time was called Timber Township High School, thinking, hey, I'm going to start. I was all state. Let's do it. And then these dudes from Cali show up, all Americans, and they're like, yeah, you're going to get some playing time, but you're not going to be the man. But congrats on your commitment, Max. Can you talk a little bit about the recruiting process? What led you to commit to the Spoon River Snappers?
Yeah, for sure. So it all started with so I want to say it was probably about 3 years ago. I joined a travel team called the Adidas Athletics, and it was their first year coming to Illinois. So, and the guy that picked me up, his name is Kenny Hawkins, and I want to give him a shout out because he's done so much for me. He's the one that got me to where I am now, and um, the reason why I chose Spoon was because it was closer to home. There was one of the closer options, I'd say, and yeah, I just it's easier to start with something like that and then progress over time, and there's always I can always transfer to a different school whenever too.
It's a great
So
transition point.
yeah,
JUCO ball is great in the fact that it's close to where you live. Your family will get to see, half the games
yep.
or so being at home. And I love the choice. I like the squad. And congrats to you.
Thank you
And
very much.
that was your first offer too, wasn't it, Max?
Yeah, that was my first offer, and then I also had another offer from uh Miles College in
Yep.
Alabama.
Yep. What if I recall right, it wasn't very long. Like you and Cole Yates didn't wait very long between your offers and your commitments. Like I think you might have been like I think I talked to mom and dad in like March, and by June of last year you were signed, sealed,
Yeah,
and delivered.
yep. It
Was
was
that just a product of looking at the recruiting landscape and going, hey, this is a pretty good offer. I like the school, like I better jump on this while I can.
Yep, that is exactly what was going through my mind. Because I went on a visit there, and I toured the whole place, and it just it felt like home. It wasn't too big and it wasn't too small, and I've heard good stuff about their program, so I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna hop on this and see what it's about.
Well, and it undoubtedly helps because Kenny's familiar with there too. Kenny was the recruiting coordinator there for I forget how long. I want to say 3 or 4 years, maybe
Yeah.
five, but obviously familiar with the school, and I think he still lives in Canton, so
Yep.
uh, that as well. Gabe, let's talk a little about your recruiting process. Where are you kind of at in the process, and what are you looking for?
The recruiting process is actually going pretty well now. I had a few setbacks in the past year. and it's kind of getting up and running, and now it's going well. I'm still looking. I'm not like shutting any option down. I'm still looking for kind of like what else I can get. I feel like it's still a little too early to give a full commitment because I just want to see all the options I can get. But
Yeah.
with all the options I have as of right now, I love everyone.
And just to kind of give people an idea, Max is, we talked about Max and one of his teammates committing pretty early versus Gabe doing what he does. I think you'll find that college coaches are fine with that, like taking that into, you know, through the summer at least into August, September. I think that could change as we get deeper and start to understand the impact that the portal has on all this mess. But um, I don't think there's any rush for anybody to just sit back and say, hey, I want to play out my junior summer and see where it goes, and then make a decision. Probably at the end of the summer, early September. Um, I tell guys that I advise to be done by October, preferably. That way you get just a solid chunk of time to commit.
It's a big
Um,
decision. If you go
yeah,
JUCO, it's a smaller decision, but still a big decision because you're looking at 2 years. You go a 4 year, that's a very important decision. And I think, when I made that decision, I remember just feeling so ignorant because I was 17 at the time and not knowing. I didn't know what I wanted to major in. I didn't know whether I wanted to go big school, medium school, JUCO, whatever. So, uh, Gabe, I commend you on taking your time and being thorough in that decision. It's a good idea.
all right, gentlemen. Well, I think that's all I've got for you. Keep lining them up and mowing them down. That's that kind of pitching can take a small school team like IBC a long ways in the postseason. So keep up the good work, and I'm sure I'll catch you guys here this week or next. So good luck on the way. All right.
Yep,
All right.
thank you
Thank you
very
very much for
much.
having us.
Thanks for coming on,
All
guys.
Appreciate
right.
it.
Hey, take care, boys. I'll see you later.
Yep. See ya.
See you.
All right. See you guys. All right.
There's Mr. O'Neal. How
There
you
he
doing,
is.
Gavin? Thanks for coming on.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right. We are joined by Gavin O'Neal from Lake Park High School. I'm ashamed to admit it as the Central Illinois guy here, but Lake Park is one of those places that I can never put a finger on where exactly it is in the suburbs. Um, I have no clue. Like
It's in the middle.
Yeah.
that doesn't help me at all. Give me bigger suburbs to relate it to.
Schaumburg.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, we're in the neighborhood. Now I know where we're at. Now I know
Well,
where we're at. Although
yeah,
I'm sure my wife might come running through the door any minute now that you've said the word Schaumburg because of the outlet mall. So,
Oh yeah.
all right, I have to start this interview with a very weird question, Mr. O'Neal. So, I need to know if you are related to a gentleman named Brian O'Neal.
That is my dad.
Okay, this is going to get even weirder. Did your dad go to Eastern Illinois University?
He did.
Was he in a fraternity?
He was.
Was he a Lambda Chi?
I believe so.
Will you please go get your father right now?
I will.
yes. I'm so glad I didn't ask him the question over text, Ben, because this is way more theatrical and enjoyable for our listeners, our audience. This is good stuff. I feel like you guys are gonna do like a Tommy Boy like bear hug virtually.
Don't shake hands. Brother's got a hug.
Outstanding. The best part is his dad is at Chili's right now getting carry out, so he's
So
driving over there to grab him.
I imagine Brian sitting in their recliner watching the Sunday night game going, what the
Yeah,
hell
he's
are
like,
these guys
let me
doing?
put some pants on first. Jesus, Gavin. Just shoot me from the neck up.
I in no way, shape, or form thought there was any kind of a shot in hell that this was actually a thing.
I love that we saved it. I got your message. Hey, ask him if Brian's his dad. And I'm at my son's baseball game and I'm like, yeah, I'll get to it later. And then here they are.
Here he is.
All right, put that guy on screen for a second. Did you live next door to a fat guy named Ben Diggle?
Yeah.
Well,
Get
this is
out of
him.
here.
That's him.
Holy cow,
What's
dude.
up, man?
How are you?
I'm well. How about you?
Well, I'm living the dream, man. I got a stud baseball player in the house and 3 other kids and a wife, and everything's good, man. How about with you?
Things are good, man. I'm still running around with Yates and helping his kid out and coaching college baseball, man.
Are you?
So,
That's
yeah,
super cool.
yeah, absolutely.
How did you make the
Absolutely.
connection? I gotta ask.
Because so Dave, was trying to get Gavin on the show, and I noticed that this guy followed my business account on Twitter,
Yeah.
and I was like, you just had like a little profile picture, and I sent it to Yates and Salzenstein, and I was just like, is this or is this not Brian O'Neal, Phi Alpha 400 something? And Salzenstein was like, I don't think so. I was like, I don't think so. And he actually sent back a picture of like our old like fraternity picture with you and like Carl Wagner and all those
Oh my
people on. Oh
gosh.
yeah. He goes, that doesn't look like O'Neal at all. And I was like, I don't know. I got a feeling. So yeah, that was just a gut feeling.
Well, that's
So
awesome, man. Well, it's
you,
great
you're
to see you.
yeah, you're actually the second member of our fraternity to have a standout baseball player.
Who's the
Uh,
first?
Gilly. Gil's kid was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
He started out at went to Central Michigan, transferred to Lakeland, and then finished up at UIC.
Oh, okay.
So Connor was pretty good, yeah. So I talked to Gilly a little bit a couple years ago as well.
Cool.
So now I have bad news for you, and
For
Gavin,
me?
this is for you, yeah. I tried to get your son to come play for me,
Oh,
and
you did?
I didn't hear back from him.
Oh, man. He was
So,
already committed.
well, it was before he committed. It was before he committed. I knew I had a long road to hoe, and obviously I had no clue that it was your kid. Otherwise, I would have played that card shamelessly. But yeah, so no hard feelings there, buddy. But man, that stinks even worse now, especially after I tried to get Gilly's kid.
That's totally on me. I don't remember seeing that. I
It's
responded.
all right, buddy. You know what? If you don't have any idea what it is, everybody's just like, "What the hell is Illinois Central College?" I get it. It is what it is. But we'll hopefully start to make that name a little bit better known in the suburbs here in a year or two. So we'll see. But in the meantime, I will get to play you because we do schedule Harper, so that'll be cool, man. Hopefully we can all get together.
That'd be a blast, man.
So
Awesome.
all right. Well,
I'll let you guys back at it. It was
yeah.
Yeah, thanks for popping in.
Yeah, of course, guys. Thanks for taking the time with Gavin. Ben, it was great to see you. Glad to hear everything's going well on your end. And
Yeah.
maybe next year we can hook up at a baseball game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll shoot Gavin my number, and if you guys ever need anything baseball wise, you give me a call. All right.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it.
Yep. See ya.
All right, take care.
That was awesome. The nostalgia, I could just feel it. Unbelievable.
Gavin, I will take monetary bribes to tell you as many stories as I can about your pops.
Oh boy, I don't know if I can hear all those. Oh, he just popped back in.
Yeah. What? No,
He's
how much
waiting to
allowance
hear.
do you need, son?
He's waiting to hit mute.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Where's
that
your
was
mother?
Great.
Yeah.
Gavin, I'll start getting into things. First of all, your Lancers had a nice week this week with 4 wins in 5 games, I believe. I've texted with your coach Dan Colucci off and on. I saw you guys play at Geneva. You guys are sitting at 13-10, I believe, on the season. You're right in the thick of the Duquesne Conference play, but this week in particular, you got hot. And when I say hot, 10 hits, 2 homers, hit for the cycle, and in back-to-back games went 4 for 4 and 4 for 4. So 8 for 8, 8 hits and 8 at bats. I mean, did the ball just look like the planet Jupiter for you?
It really did. Leading up to that, believe it or not, I was in a pretty bad slump. So I was just in my head and everything, and I was talking to my coaches. I was just trying to turn my brain off, see the ball.
Yeah.
Um, Really started working for me when I think it was first game against, or second or third game against St. Charles East was the first 4-for-4 game. I was just seeing it so well out of the hand. Stopped thinking, just let the ball travel.
That's
Went with it.
good. Do you is your hitting guru, if you have one, is it one of your coaches at Lake Park? Is it Colucci, or do you have, someone on the side like a
It's
one-on-one guy?
it's really just everybody because I was a PO in the fall, believe it or not.
Okay.
Um, I hit in the summer. Colucci's been helping me. I've known Colucci for a long time. He's always been helping me my swing, myself. I hit with a few guys. I hit all the time in Bentonville at the Dome.
Okay.
Yeah, so just a lot of just working at it.
Yeah, I was looking at your numbers. Looks like 2.73 ERA on the year as a pitcher, 40 Ks in 38 innings. You got 4 wins. And then with the bat, 25 hits, 8 doubles, 2 bombs, 17 ribeyes, 6 steals. I mean, you are a nice two-way that Harper's getting. Is Harper going to let you be two-way?
Yeah, yeah. So that's up to me. I think I'm pretty set on doing it or just giving it a try at least. See how that pans out because can't really put down the bat right now.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, you went 8 for 8 against what I would call not a slouch uh back-to-back game. St. Charles East, their record isn't great, but they are really talented. And then you continued that with, I believe, your first game in the Glenbard North series.
Yeah,
So if you're hitting like that against good teams, why not? I mean, you always got time to get to that point in your career where the game tells you, hey, man, you're a pitcher only at this
exactly.
level. Diggle has talked to me about that because I'll scout a guy for Diggle and I'll say, I think potential two-way D2. And he goes, maybe, we'll see. But Diggle always makes the point that the game will tell you when your two-way ability has ended. And I don't think it's ended for you at Harper. So, obviously good luck to you there. A question, because it looks to me like you're the ace of the staff. But I got to see Anthony Durava
Yeah,
throw against Geneva. He had a rough go because he ran into Mason Breach and Noah Hallahan for Geneva, but he's got a 12-6 curveball that is filthy. And I,
absolutely.
I saw he bounced back after that Geneva game and pitched well, I think this weekend or maybe Friday.
Yeah, he did.
Um,
He did really well in our last game.
okay. Could you just talk about his arsenal, your
Yeah.
relationship with him? He seems like a good
Um,
good pitcher.
Really good guy. Believe it or not, he's a first year transfer. He
Okay.
went to Marist last year. He's a junior right now. Um, he gets in. He's kind of comes as a two-way. We kind of recognize early that we're just gonna really capitalize him as a pitcher. Capitalize on him as a pitcher. He's got arm side run on his fastball. Really good. Really just fills up the zone. Not a lot of walks. Pitches to
Right.
contact.
Yeah,
Um,
he's a strike thrower when I saw him. And what I liked about him is he's got a very smooth delivery
Absolutely.
and the ball jumps. It's like an effortless. I had him on my measly radar, the cheap version. I had him at about 82. He might have hit 83, but it looks like he's just playing catch and the ball just kind of glides quickly. Um, and he's a junior, correct?
100%. Yeah, yeah.
He,
And
he
I totally agree with that. He's never really had any like mechanic work or anything like that. He's always been kind of on his own. So the ceiling's really the limit for that kid. He's got a
I,
lot of potential.
I'd agree. I love that curveball. As good of a hitting lineup as Geneva has, and especially their youngsters can really hit. And he got hit kind of hard that game, but that's going to happen. But none of them could square up his curveball.
Yeah,
None of them. That thing, and he threw it a fair amount, and he threw it for strikes. He threw it just slightly below the knees. I really loved what he did with the curveball. Um, with you and Durava, come playoff time, that's a nice 1-2 punch.
for sure. Just got to get hot at the right time.
That's right. You get the bats hot. You get some good pitching, good defense. Yeah, I know. I looked your squad up. Did you guys lose about 8 seniors that all played college ball last year?
We lost 20.
Oh,
Yeah,
and am I
That's
correct though?
insane.
Wasn't like 7 or 8 of them that played college ball this year as a freshman?
18,
Oh my God.
18 or 17. Yeah.
That
That
went on to play college baseball just from that roster.
Yes. Last year.
Wow. That's
I knew you
incredible,
guys
man.
were good last year. I did not know it was that number.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
We have 3 returners, me being one of them. The other one, Jason Keefe, is the outfielder, and then Chris Ray, catcher. Christopher Ray's going to Illinois Wesleyan.
Okay.
You're
Good
uh
luck
you're
there.
you're newly crowned CCIW champion, Illinois Wesleyan.
Yeah, saw that.
Gotta show a little love for the family connection there. But yeah.
Yeah, one of the seniors from last year actually went there. Derek Ittner.
Oh,
So
nice. Okay.
uh,
I gotcha. I gotcha.
What do you got
All right.
for Mr. O'Neal, Diggs? Besides questions about his dad, well, stories about his dad, I should say. Untellable stories.
No. He was actually Brian was super quiet. Although I remember the first time I heard Tupac's first posthumous CD. What was that? The Machiavelli
Yeah.
theory. Uh, his Brian was the one that introduced me to that.
And his
So
head was bobbing.
yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
Gavin, talk a little bit about you know that evolution as a hitter. I know Dave already talked about that a little bit, but like, is it something that you like? Let's say pitching, doesn't pan out, whatever it might be. Would you be happy to be a hitter, or is pitching like your first
absolutely.
love?
Pitching is not my first love. I've always been like a above average hitter, and I've always been able to throw the ball hard. But pitching's more like a newfound love for me, I'd say. Recently I've been putting more effort into pitching and training for that and like specifics in the weight room. And
What
I've
kind of sparked your interest?
what sparked my interest is just coaches telling me, like me being 6'4", especially. Um, just coaches telling me that sky's the limit with that. I mean, I was throwing 84, 85 last year. I think I hit 90, 91 in Florida this
Okay,
spring break.
That
So
warm weather, man. We've
yeah, I
talked about
know
it before. It does
every
wonders for
time.
that heater.
that Florida humidity.
Yep, every time you go south of Tennessee, and all of a sudden that body just goes, ah,
Yep,
and don't have to gird against the cold.
for sure. But yeah, I really found that just focusing on pitching has helped me, like especially with like my pop in the box. The home run I hit the other day was out in front of the curveball, still barreled it up, but just not really swinging too hard. It just found its way out.
I saw a
Was
video
that
of it, and
Yep,
with your height, with your long limbs and whatever, like you said, just make good contact. That ball will go.
for sure.
yeah? Well, Dave, I don't have anything else for the young Mr. O'Neal. I'm thrilled to have him on. I'm so happy that that was your dad. Oh my gosh, man, I can't believe that. Like, he's one of those. This is no joke, and I hope I stay in touch with him from here on out. Like, that's one of the Brian O'Neal is one of those guys that you think about. Like, man, I really like that guy. Where did what happened to him? I literally haven't seen him in 20 years, probably closer to 25.
Wow.
It's crazy. So just so awesome to have him back on, and hopefully I get to meet you both in person here pretty soon. So the best of luck to you, man.
Cool. Thank you guys.
Thanks for coming on, Gavin.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Hey, have a good one, buddy.
You too.
Take care. Oh, I love that connection was made.
Oh, that made my day, man. Brian O'Neal was so cool. I
There
enjoyed the hell
was
out of hanging out with him.
when I got your text that said, "Hey, ask Gavin if his dad's Brian." Again, I was at my son's game, but there was a small part of me that was like, if it's true, I want to see it happen live, like all natural reaction. So after that, I purposely did not follow through on your request so you could do it live. Because, 90% chance the answer is no. O'Neal is
Yeah.
a pretty common name,
Yes.
but you know what? It was well worth it.
I might use his dad's photo from the fraternity book as the the photo artwork for the episode.
I love it. Absolutely love it. You got it. The hazing continues. It
The
never
class.
stops.
No, he was ahead of me, so he got to haze me.
Awesome.
Oh, so well, hey, what else? You got out and saw a couple games this week. What'd you see, brother?
Yeah, we'll do our standard alternating. So real quick, I went out and saw Division II JUCO game. I went up to Elgin Community College and saw Carl Sandburg because one of my best friends, Ryan Alexander's nephew, Jace Wilkerson, plays for the Chargers, and watched Mr. Wilkerson hit a nice 2 RBI single into right center. Um, Boy, he's a moose, man.
He is.
He is a big, strong kid. I talked to Ryan. I'm like, because Jace is in that point of as a sophomore at JUCO, he's looking to where do I go now? And Ryan said, he's kind of a homebody that just works out, hangs out with the dudes. He's not a big partier. And I'm sorry to admire another man's physique, but he looks like he has no body fat. I mean,
Yeah, he's yoked.
6'4" and just ripped. He looks like an MLB player.
Yeah, he's like
Up
6'4",
and back.
215, 220. Yeah.
Just a big, strong moose, man, and
And
wish him all the best with his upcoming decision.
I was going to say, he hasn't made a decision yet, has he?
He has not. He has not.
So just to give everybody a little bit of background on Jace, I'm pretty sure I have this right. Jace went to East Peoria High School where I teach.
Yep.
He missed most of his, I want to say, I know he missed most of his junior year. I'm not sure how much of his sophomore year he missed, but he had a really bad knee injury.
Bad knee injury. Yep.
Yeah, and was literally like missed a lot of time in school that it was so bad. Because I remember he was out for quite some time because he was in my last hour study hall and was gone quite a bit. So he is really very young in the game. And that's why it's been so cool to see him kind of blossom and have the options that he does. I saw him on the mound this year. I know he's a threat in the batter's box. Like, he is becoming a nice ball player.
It helps to have your personal hitting guru be Ryan Alexander.
Also true.
Formerly Peoria Journal Star Player of the Year, All-State, and then Lakeland. I remember he had a 3-homer game at Lakeland that made a bunch of papers, and sadly, he was at ISU set to bat 5th as a junior, and he tore his UCL. And this was before Tommy John was almost like granting your wish. Oh,
Yeah.
great. Now I'm going to throw harder and go longer. So he hung it up, sadly, after the TJ surgery. He said he was at practice, ground ball to third, fielded it cleanly, and just pop. And that was it for Mr. Alexander, who I will say is the best hitter I ever pitched against. And sorry, Mr. Knox, that includes Ryan Knox, who went on to play AAA at the Brewers. And I'm sure Ryan got it a lot better, and we know he did. But, in high school, Alexander was the toughest hitter that I faced.
I would agree.
So anyway, it was cool to see Jace in person. I'll let you go ahead and we'll alternate.
Like I said, this week we were real pitching heavy around here. Got to shout out the Washington High School pitching staff. Carter Prina, Gavin Lawrence, and Thomas D, and the combination of Thomas Diedrich and Luke Kaminsky. Prina, still uncommitted, thinking he just wants to go to school to the University of Illinois, where he's already been admitted. Throws a 3-hit shutout against East Peoria again with RJ Duncan on the mound. PBR had him 88-90. Every time I talk to the kid, talks about how his arm is hurting, but he just keeps dealing it up. And so then Gavin Lawrence followed him with a 1-hit shutout against East Peoria. So they swept East Peoria this week. Good for them. And then they went down to Springfield High, which is no slouch either. And Thomas Diedrich and Luke Kaminsky twirled up a gym down there in a 5-inning no-hitter. So shout out to them, to the Washington Panthers pitching staff. They were on one.
Good deal. I'm gonna go into my one of the cooler games, high school games I've been to this year. Number one's gonna be that East Peoria Dunlap game you and I got to announce, just because of the walk off and everything. But
I think I'm calling the Potters and the Raiders tomorrow.
ooh, boy, I may have to have a talk with the wife about a
Yeah,
disappearance.
get
I
in the
gotta come.
car.
I gotta come south of the wall. The White Walkers are up here. Um, so Friday night, I went to the St. Charles rivalry game, which was St. Charles East versus St. Charles North, the North Stars. And this was at Kane County Cougars Stadium, the Northwestern Medicine Field. Um, Great ballpark, just solid. Kyle Schwarber played there in 2014. It's got a lot of history. People love it around here. The matchup, the pitching matchup was extraordinary. PBR was there. I can't remember the name of the guy. I'm still learning all their names, but one of Drew Locascio's crew. So the pitching matchup was for the North Stars, Keaton Ranke, 2026. He's a junior, ranked 11 in that class. He throws 90, right-hander, and he threw 90, and it was chilly. For East on the hill was Joey Arend, southpaw. PBR's got him ranked number 21. He's a senior. He's a two-way going to Xavier. He was also hitting 90. One of my favorite random moments of this game was St. Charles North senior first baseman and catcher, who we've talked about when we discussed some of our favorite schools recruitments. Ty Hembach for the North Stars, who's going to North Central. His walk-up song was the song Wood, Would, by Alice in Chains off the Dirt album and also on the single
Nice.
soundtrack
Oh,
directed by Cameron Crowe. Those of you who know Cameron Crowe, he wrote Fast Times at Ridgemont High, directed Jerry Maguire, Almost Famous. That was his walk-up song. And we've talked about this topic before about how this youth, I don't know what generation they are anymore. I've lost track of the alphabet, but they know their tunes, man. I
you know what?
loved it.
It's funny you say that because one of the things that I am most proud about that Kevin Yates and I have passed on to Cole Yates is a love of 90s hip hop.
Yes.
And the only like there were out of I went to that IBC game Tuesday night. I think 7 out of the 9 kids had 90s hip hop as their walk up. Now, what's the downside of that, Mr. Bentley?
Well, the downside is today's rap is awful, but
It really is. But you know what happens if you have in the 90s rap or early 2000s rap? Chances are Diddy's on there somewhere.
oh,
And of,
Diddy.
and
You
of
can't get
course,
away from Diddy.
whose song had the most Diddy? Cole Yates.
Coleslaw. Outstanding coleslaw. Way to go.
So
Don't give up on
we,
your on your favorite rapper just because he's in jail. By the way, shout out to his former sidekick Mace, Evan Farner's neighbor in Marietta, Georgia. That's a true story, by the way. All right, I'm gonna continue and finish up this game. I got to give the MVP of the St. Charles rivalry game to Joey Arend. He goes 5 2/3. He gives up 1 earned run. He strikes out 8. He hits a double in the box. He gets the win for St. Charles East, who won that game 3-2. Also for East, the right fielder, Mr. Andrew Zolna, had 2 hits. Their shortstop, James Fiegelson, PBR ranked 89 in that 26 class, had a key RBI in the 6th inning to break a 0-0 tie because Mr. Keaton Ranke was also dealing. And then I really liked, and of course, this is Athletes HQ bias, left-handed hitter, first baseman for East, Dylan McCabe. He's only a sophomore. He's in the middle of that lineup. He played good defense at first. He was on base 3 times, 2 walks. He was spitting on balls outside the zone. Then he had an infield single between short and third. And, PBR's got him at like a 7.4 running the 60. He looked faster than that to me. So shout out to you, Mr. McCabe. You did well out there, causing trouble being on base. And just a quick more love for Joey Arend. About 10 days ago, in a 4-game span, just to prove he is a two-way at Xavier, he stole 12 bases in 4 games, including 5 in 1 game against Glenbard North. That is ludicrous, if I can quote Spaceballs. Ludicrous.
Ludicrous speed. Don't go plaid, though. Don't go plaid.
Back to you, sir. Who else you got?
By the way, nice Spaceballs reference on May the 4th.
Oh,
Well done.
It is. I didn't even think about it. A happy accident.
Yeah. I also want to shout out another pitching staff, that of Normal Community. Normal Community, won. They were a little rough on your alma mater this week, brother. They won Hit Richwoods on Monday night. The duo of Jonah Roper, who's headed to Rock Valley College up in Rockford, and Jacob Engel. And then one of my guys, Landon Corbin,
I like him.
2026, 2026 right-hander, high spin guy, has great spin metrics on both the fastball and the breaking ball. The breaking ball in particular spins, he's going to be a guy that when he's full grown spins it right around 3K. I mean, I know that sounds insane, but that's what it's going to be, because right now he's consistently, 2,700, 2,800, and everything's just going to get harder as you go.
Corbin's filthy.
He struck out 14 out of 15 outs in a 5-inning game. And the 15th out was a liner back up the middle that he caught. So
that sounds like Billy Chappell from For the Love of the Game.
Yeah. And last but not least, another one of my guys for Normal Community, Gavin Swartz, goes out Saturday against Moline, and is his normal dominant self. He's a 2026 Indiana recruit, 89 to 91 on Saturday, even though it was a little chilly, and strikes out 12 in a shutout against Moline. So 3 really nice outings for the Normal Community pitching staff this week.
Is there a team in Bloomington Normal that is not good at baseball? Because gosh, they're the talent.
The smaller ones the small privates are a little down. Central Catholic is not normally what it is. And Cornerstone Christian is still very new and very, I would say, niche, like maybe not the most athletically centered school ever, but they still do play at the IHSA level. But man, it is, between U High, I mean, Bloomington High has 16 wins.
Community.
And then Community and West, man, it's a good time to be a ball player in Bloomington Normal. And I think a lot of it,
go ahead.
I think that's a shout out to Josh Cowton and his crew. I mean, everybody who's worth a darn in Bloomington Normal passes through that facility.
I was just going to say, it's the pitching. Now they have a lot of hitters, but their pitching in that whole town is just filthy, disgusting.
Yep. Absolutely.
I got one more shout out, a brief one. I tried to get Batavia Bulldog Liam Dare on the show today. He was unavoidably detained. He just went 7 for 10 this week with 3 home runs, including a big one against rival Geneva. Batavia wraps up their 3-game series with Geneva tomorrow. I will try to be in attendance, but Mr. Liam Dare had himself a hot week, including 2 bombs in 1 game, 3 on the week, swinging it well.
Nice. Very nice. I want to talk a little bit about a young man I saw, Landon Crawford from Farmington. This is a young man whose name has slowly been kind of leaking out there. 6'5", left-handed hitter, left-handed thrower, plays some first base when he's not on the mound. Word had gotten back to me that this young man was 83 to 85. Normally, when you do that and you go out in the country, you will find out that number is nowhere near accurate. So over the course of many, many years, I've become jaded and, kind of go out there a little cynical. And so you can imagine my eyes when the first fastball that young man cut loose from the left side for Farmington was 89 miles an hour.
Oh,
so Landon Crawford is He's still got a lot. There's a lot of clay to mold there. It's not by no means a finished product, but the clay is quality clay to start for sure.
89 is the real deal Holyfield. We can work
Yep.
with that.
Yep. Also need to shout out Tanner Wiegand of Eureka, Southwestern Illinois Community College recruit. Throws a one-hit shutout against Gibson City Melvin Sibley, the defending Heart of Illinois Conference champs. He was 83 to 85 and struck out 9 in that game. And then last but not least, shout out to Deleving's Wyatt Pearson, throws a perfect game against Peoria Heights. 5 innings on just 58 pitches and strikes out 10 of the 15 that he faces.
Wow.
So shout out Wyatt Pearson. Going to Olivet Nazarene, by the way.
Okay. NAIA up by me.
Yep. There you go.
Also, Ben Zobrist,
Yeah,
alumnus of
yep.
Olivet Naz.
Absolutely.
Ben Zobrist, who's about to be put in the Peoria Sunday Morning League Hall of Fame.
Yes,
I
he
think
is.
in a couple weeks or something.
Yes. Yep. And is also the guest speaker. Imagine that.
Yeah. He will draw a crowd. He will draw a
yes.
crowd the way he got the Cubbies that World Series. Boy, he really
but you know, it's one of those things where you're right in a certain sense, but we're so polite down here that it almost doesn't look like a crowd. Like when Zobrist or Tomey or any of those guys
was
are
there
home,
a couple years ago. Yeah.
It's just kind of like, oh, hey Jim, hey Ben, like like, oh yeah, you guys are you're one of us. Like we don't have to worry about you. It's not weird. We've known you since you were little.
Yep.
So very strange, but it's a very cool part of being from here for sure. So, well, Mr. Bentley, that's all I got, brother.
That's all I got. Good show, good guess.
Absolutely.
Shout outs. And let's see. This week, like I said, I'm going to try to catch Batavia at Geneva for the finale tomorrow.
So that means you're definitely not coming down tomorrow. I don't need to save a spot in the booth.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stick around.
7 p.m. start.
Yeah, I know. Tuesday, Wheaton North at Geneva is a game. I got to see my guy Nick Pisciata again. God knows if I'm pronouncing that right, but I'm a big fan of watching that dude swing, and maybe I get to see Noah Hallahan throw again for Geneva.
There you go.
Geneva's got a lineup, man. The coach's kid, Nelson Wendell, Mason Breach, who we talked about, and Hallahan, and there's a couple others in there, but they'll be taking on the Wheaton North Falcons on Tuesday. I'll be there.
And I know I am for sure headed out to Normal West to see them take on Notre Dame on Friday. And then, like I said, the Raiders and Potters will be broadcast tomorrow via our YouTube channel. So be sure to check that out as well. It won't be quite the same without Mr. Bentley there, but maybe we can might have to take the show on the road up there for a game. Maybe do a Harvest Christian game or something.
I would love it. They don't call me the best color man in the league for nothing, folks.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. All right, man. Well, that's all I got. We'll catch you later.
All right, brother. See ya.
Hey, see ya.